want to switch your tactics to something that's more fun, exciting, and most importantly, one that's going to give you wins. This is that formation. These are those tactics. To show this team's not overpowered, this is who I'm using, who I've won 10 straight games with. Yes, that's a goalkeeper at center mid. We switch him at center forward. That's how good these tactics are. Also note, there's no lengthy boys in the attack. We'll get into that later. We're using the 4-3-3 version 5 or the false 9 formation, and these are the tactics. There's two things that I want to point out. The first thing is slow build-up. I know most people do fast build-up or long ball. I feel as though slow build-up is better, especially in this formation, because the people are more closely compacted together, so you can actually play out of the defense. The other thing is players in the box. Sometimes 5 ticks is not enough, and sometimes 6 ticks is too much. So you have to kind of decide in-game what's going to be best. Now, the tactics are pretty good, but the instructions you may have to tweak here and there if your opponent is doing a particular thing, which we will get to right now. These are all the instructions that I have on these players. Most notably, we have the fullbacks on stay back while attacking. Obviously, the defensive mid on stay back. One of the center mids on get forward, and note that it's Correa at that center mid spot. Meaning, I don't really care if they're good at defending or not. You're going to be wanting to put an attacking player in that spot. If they can defend, that's a bonus. The other center mid who's not on get forward will be on stay back while attacking. Both the wingers will be a cut inside, get in behind, and get into the box for crosses. Nope, this one right here, get into the box for crosses. I will say it again.
The get into the box instruction for your wingers is the most important instruction in this team.
Both of your wingers are going to be doing this, and then your center forward is on stay central, target man, and stay forward. Now, I know how you scumbums usually work. You're only interested in the tactics and instructions without any explanation. Well, guess what? If you don't listen to this next part about the explanations, you're not going to do well at this formation. I can't wait for someone in the comments to be like, oh, it didn't work in this formation and tactics. It was terrible. It'll be probably because you didn't listen to this next part. First things first, this is why I'm going to be using slow build-up. It's because you can attack as a team. So we build out from the back. All 3 of our attackers are in one spot. We can pass very quickly, get it between each other, and send everyone on the run. That way, instead of just one player going forward, it's the entire attack. I'm not saying nothing else will work. I'm just saying this is why I think slow build-up is the best for these tactics. Now, I mentioned before that I have the fullbacks on stay back while attacking. That's because in-game, you can actually switch them to attacking without actually have to change the instructions. If you do up on the D-pad and then left, this little tactic bar comes up, and then you can have them actually going forward and joining the attack. Obviously, this is very helpful for when your opponent is sitting back, which, let's be honest, everyone and their mother is sitting back in foot champs because everyone's a degen in these games. Here's a goal from one of our attacking fullbacks. Again, wouldn't have happened if we didn't click up and left on the D-pad. This is why it's so important for your center mid who's on stay back while attacking to be a very, very solid box-to-box midfielder who is very quick like Renato Sanchez. So if you get caught out like we did here with Rudiger, you have that quick center mid who can quickly get the ball, and so that way you're not caught out for a counter-attack. Now, I mentioned I didn't have any lengthy boys in the attack or actually in the midfield for this team either, and normally that's fine. However, in this game, I was getting absolutely cooked, as you can see. My opponent had a very high line, so if I tried to do an over-the-top through ball, Rudiger, who's lengthy, versus Landon Donovan, who's explosive, I'm going to lose that 10 times out of 10. So that's why it's important to have a couple lengthy or at the very least controlled players on the bench, so that way you can substitute them in if your opponent has a very high line. In this case, we put in Gakpo, who I believe is controlled, and that completely changed the game, and we end up winning this 4-5-1, I believe. Is that him scoring a goal 2 minutes into the second half? I believe it is. Very good play by me. I am a genius. Now, even though I substituted in a controlled player for an explosive one, that doesn't mean I take out all of my explosive players, because usually the lengthy and controlled players cannot dribble like apparently Landon Donovan. Apparently he's a god. Speaking of those explosive players, this is also why I have them in the midfield as well. When we have Hakimi, Renato, and then our defensive mid Robertson in there, it's very easy to dribble, take these touches, and do a lot of quick dribbling like here, which is again why we are able to score, because we have an explosive player. Now, if you're able to do that dribbling with a lengthy player, be my guest. I just haven't been able to, which is why I prefer the explosive players in this situation. In fact, our tactics were so good, we actually made this guy rage quit here, and we actually got a hat trick with Landon Donovan. I mean, beautiful finish. If someone would have told me I would have been cooking with Landon Donovan last year, I don't really know what I would have done. Now, if you really can't live without a lengthy player, at least put them on the wing, because that way they're getting in behind more often, because obviously with the center forward instead of a striker, they're not going to be getting in behind. So I would suggest your center forward, your center mid who gets forward a lot, and your defensive mid be explosive, or at the very least controlled. That way you're able to dribble and do these quick touches and actually able to build out and do some good stuff in the attack. So before we end it, let's do a quick overview, shall we? For your tactics, slow build-up is going to be pretty important, and your players in the box could be 5 or 6 depending on the situation that you're in with your opponent. Get into into the box for crosses for your wingers is the most important instruction in the instruction tab, along with your wing backs being on stay back while attacking. Make sure you have one center mid on get forward and the other center mid on stay back. However, the stay back while attacking center mid could also be on just balanced if they are good enough defensively. Make sure you recognize the situations when you need to have the attacking fullback tab selected in game. Having explosive players in the attack is very helpful, at the very least at center forward. That way you can do quick dribbling moves. I would also recommend explosive players in the midfield. That way you can have a quicker and better build up play. And also get Campos, because he's good. He's good. Like, he's unironically at this stage of the game, he's good. So that is going to do it for this video, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy it. If you want me to review any other tactic, formation, if you have any questions over this tactic and formation, let me know and I'll try to answer them in the comments down below. But like I said, that is going to do it. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been DMG. Peace.